Everyone, this is John from Great Expectations Antiques, and just want to take a few minutes to reintroduce a antique tool called a cabinet scraper. Now, this particular one that I'm holding in my hand is made by the LSS Sterrett company and in Athol, Massachusetts. It's from a period around the 1930s. And maybe even up until the 1950s era. It's marked right around here on the washer that retains the removable scraper blade. This particular model has a feature where this wooden handle unit is removable, and it also has a loosen and swivel feature, so the blade can be positioned into different positions that would accomplish what you need to do, which I'll show in just a few minutes. The idea with a cabinet scraper such as this one is to be able to smooth various surfaces down on hardwood or softwood even. But particularly designed for hardwood. It seems to work best, at least for me, on a hardwood type of situation. Let's suppose that you, on this sample board here, there's a step between this board and this board. What you could do today with modern sanders is sand that so that those two blend. If let's say this was a joined board or something along that lines, and you could use a power sander, and especially could use even a roll sander if the board was not already positioned in an assembled project. So the idea with a hand scraper is to be able to smooth that surface by drawing it backwards like this, and as you can see, it's making chips here, a very fine amount, and it's very smooth. And eventually, with very little effort, really, that would basically come to a smooth blend on that particular board. So you have small shavings, works similar to a plane, but really was an alternative to sandpaper, which can load up. Let's say you had a little bit of a finish on that, and you saw that you wanted to blend that in. Polyurethane or even varnish will load up sandpaper. So this scraper is ultimately the tool to use for doing that blending work, and it took a good bit of material off there in a reasonably short period of time. Any imperfections that you might see after you've done the blending work there, you could take those out later with light sandpaper. I wanted to show you not only the Sterrett, but I also have a similar model that is made by Miller's Falls. It also has the swivel feature, and but a little bit different design up front. The blade simply has a round hole in it. We do have new or replacement blades for this particular model. Similar feature here. This handle removes. You can either use it this way or that way, and the handle is there just to protect your hands from being indented on or so on. As far as the blade itself, the blade is a 90-degree surface. The scraping edge is actually that corner of that 90-degree. So with these type of blades, you can use any of the four corners and then resharpen it by redressing this surface here. You can do that, take it off, and do that in a sander, a belt sander type of situation. Just get a nice flat 90-degree surface to this, to the side of the blade, and it'll be nice and sharp for you. The blades, the extra blades that we have or that you can purchase, are tempered and pre-hardened steel, and they hold up real well. Same type of use out of this. You want to have an angle, as you see that I have here, and for scraping applications. And the sharper that 90-degree surface is, the better and the smoother it scrapes. So thereby called a cabinet scraper. So this one is a Miller's Falls 296, and it's clearly marked on this little label right here, and then the 296 has a wooden handle and a wooden cover for the blade. This particular model here is called a Dykeman, and it also has the swivel capability. It'll swivel a little bit more than the other two models, and it takes the same blade as on the Miller's Falls. In fact, there's one mounted in here, although it'll fit the Miller's Falls or this unit. It basically is the same type of blade, the same width, roughly 3 inches, and this one is also marked the Dykeman company on this area here, and then there's a patent date of 1906 marked down in this area. This one does not have that cover handle, but it has a handle here for you to hold on to. And the reason for this swivel handle and why it's so useful is because the swivel handle, let's say you already had this, it was up against a cabinet facing or something like that here. You can get your hand out of the way and be able to scrape that back like this, and it still works just as well. You have two-handed control, and at this point here, we're real close to having a smooth blend between these two board surfaces that I have here. So very little work went into that, just a couple of minutes, and we have nearly a smooth blend ready for finish sanding. There's other types of scrapers. You may have seen this one. Kind of looks like a ram's horn type of setup. This particular one is made by E.C. Atkins, and that's written right here on this cast steel holder. This one is a scraper for veneer use. As you can see, the blade is about the same width as the other ones, but this one is for, let's say you put a veneer surface on a table or a nightstand or something along that lines, where the two veneer surfaces come together, because veneer isn't always exactly the same thickness. After you've had those two pieces of veneer blended together, again, you might have a mismatched surface, and this one works primarily the same way. It just slides along that surface and gives you that same effect using the blade in that area. So this is truly an antique from the 1800s period. They're pretty rare, and especially in this clean of condition. Also, another veneer cabinet scraper is this Stanley number 81. It's marked right here. It has a rosewood or cocobolo piece down mounted on the bottom that can be replaced if you should need to. And again, the same type of effect. I don't have the blade adjusted for use in this one. It's just in its storage mode, but the same type of motion with this one. I believe it's actually pushing is how you would get the desired effect. The blade is just barely making the surface. You can kind of hear it there, but I would have it adjusted a little bit further down for this particular application here, to take just a little more material off than what it was just taking off. Again, scrapers can be sharpened. Now on this one here, you can see that there is an angle on that blade on this side, and actually on this side as well, depending on how you want to use it. You can sharpen it. It's going to take more material off, and it may load up in the mouth on you, depending on if you decide that you want to pull it or push it. So if you have the 90-degree on there, with this particular scraper, I found you can really go in either direction, but it works best in a pushing for me. Takes nice, smooth, makes just almost like it's shavings, but they're very very fine shavings, and kind of along the lines of sawdust. So there you have it, as far as the 5 different scrapers that I have to show you today. I also wanted to just mention to you, I don't know if you've seen this particular book. They come in sets. It's called Adults, Carpenters and Builders. It's spelled A-U-D-E-L-S. Carpenters and Builders Guidebooks. Comes in a set of 4. I have just volume 1. It's one of my favorite volumes for tool discussion, and here in this book it shows a similar scraper here on this page as to what I've been showing you, and it talks about how to use it and how to sharpen it. And then here's some other veneer scrapers here from Stanley and other makers, and it shows you in this book basically the angles that you want to use that various scrapers on, and then it goes into a little bit more on burnishing, which is a similar process on the next page back. So I recommend a set of Audels too. If you're into antique tools and you enjoy using these old tools, it's a nice set of books, and I have a number of different sets from different years. First edition is 1923 on out to in this style here up until right around 1950, and then they changed the cover after that. But a good book for learning about all these different types of antique tools and how they are to be used or were used back then. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. The name of my company is Great Expectations. My website below, oldtoolsandstuff.com, is a place you can go and make contact if you have questions or feedback. I'd appreciate hearing from you. And like I mentioned, all these tools are for sale from that link as well. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you watching.